Good afternoon and welcome to the Langley Event Centre for our feature performance today. Trinity Western Spartans versus United. A local derby here just across the pond, across the Fraser River. United making the trek over to play Trinity at their home ground, which is hoping as we get further along in the season and as this team continues to develop, this young team continues to develop, this will become a fortress. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever this finds you today. Today, starting up front, number 1, Scott Bowers. 2, James Ellis. 3, Favor Olian. 4, Eric Niebuhr. 5, Josh Halliday. Big fan of Josh. The big fella covers a lot of ground. Isaiah DePease playing blindside. Caleb Van Til at 7. Gennaro Gandolfo at 8. Finn Murphy trying to direct things behind the scrum today at 9. Max Darcy 10. On one wing, Lyndon Duggan. On the other, Connor Bernardin. In the centres today, Colin Legat, Ethan Bernardin. The brothers there playing shoulder to shoulder. And lastly, John Lawrence starting on at fullback with Matthew Willems injured. I think picking up an injury last week in a game where he fractured his elbow. We're hoping that he's going to make a quick return and a speedy return. For United, 1, Quinlan Hutchison. 2, Bruce Wong. 3, Joe Goraza. 4, Cobra. I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong, but he's going to be called Cobra today. 5, Sama. 6, Kale. 7, Cullum. Duncan. 8, Cam McCulloch. 9, Rajan Prasad. 10, Nick Hammerschmidt. 11, Ethan Shather. 12, Joe Patko. 13, Aaron Solomosa. 14, Matt. And lastly at the fullback, Gianmarco Petrosi. Ball in hand today. Our fly half, Max Darcy, is going to get today's proceedings underway. Kick off there, Max goes deep. And one bounce and on the out. It's a perfectly weighted kick there from Max Darcy, and it's a great start to the game. Already getting some possession, and United starting right within the 20 seconds. Last time these two teams met was on March the 12th, where Spartans defeated United at Hump Park 45-8. The Spartans are looking to replicate that result today and hopefully come out with the W today. United with the throw. Seemed to be uncontested, that line out. Rajan Prasad at the back, keeping it tight with the forwards, looking comfortable to Spartans penalised. Not rolling away. Tackles made there, not rolling away. Nick Hammerschmidt got an opportunity to create some space and get United out of their half. It's a good touch finder. United will have the ball at the line out. Line out throw here with United. Line out a little bit better, contested there. And United started a little more, but the Spartans holding their ground, holding their discipline too. Not bringing down that more, playing everything legally, and it's a turnover. It's a great turnover. Finn Murphy picking the ball up at the bottom of that ruck. And a little box kick over. First opportunity to put any of these wings under pressure, and it's well taken. But one of the and a phenomenal chase by Gennaro Gandolfo. Opposite wing is tested, and a little bit of a fumble, but makes up for it with the wheels. Lyndon Duggan keeping the ball tight. Number 6, Isaiah with the ball. And these boys are using the ball wide. I love to watch that. And 12, a big break by Colin Legat. Colin Legat with the help on the inside. And then the big man, Scott Bowers with ball in hand. He releases to Gennaro Gandolfo, and he scores underneath the post. That's the first points of the game. 5 points on the scoreline, and what a start by Trinity Western Spartans. Absolutely amazing. Beautiful to watch the ball go through hands there, and a phenomenal start. Looked a little bit like it was going to be not their day there. Ball went deep. A little bit of a fumble there by Lyndon Duggan, and he makes up for it with gaining his composure, turning on the wheels, and man, that boy can run. Lyndon Duggan started that whole move off. Distribute, the ball goes through the hands, and then, it must be said, Colin Lagat with a break that was spectacular, not looking for the glory, looking for his link-up play. 5 points on the board, and James will be ecstatic with that points, and Jan Lawrence putting the extra 2 on the board with a converted try. If you're just joining us today, Langley Event Centre, home of the Spartans. Trinity Western Spartans 7, United 0. Still a long game, a long 80 minutes ahead of us, and no one's writing anyone off, but it's a confident start for Trinity, who will take a lot of confidence from the opening exchanges here with United. Isaiah with the ball. The ball goes a little bit wide, and that's Jan with an opportunity to give him a little bit of Bojangles. Ball's out. That is referee saying that he's come from the side, not going through from the back of the ruck through and contesting that fairly, and that's a penalty to Spartans with and a missed touch kick, and a great Lyndon Duggan with a phenomenal follow-up. This is where Trinity, I'd love to see them just disciplined and be willing to just defend for a little while. Discipline favors, hands all over that ball. United holding ground. This is where the forwards need a little bit of composure at the Spartan side. United happy to play around the fringes of the ruck. That's a great hit. Caleb Van Til, what? Caleb, that was phenomenal. I take a huge amount of confidence from that, just being patient, allowing United to play with the ball and not gaining too much possession, but holding strong defensively. Amazing work, and if you're a forward watching today, or if you ever played the game in the dark arts of the front row or the tight 5 or wider in that scrum, you will understand just how much enthusiasm and how exhilarating it is just to hold your ground and make sure that no advantage is gained around that ruck. Again, scrum here. So it's important to watch this tight head here, Favor Olian. The man does not get enough credit where credit is due. The way he's able to just create stability in that front row is special. He's not a flash player, he's not running with the ball in hands too much, but the amount of work he does at this scrum time is absolutely spectacular, and just a really special player, Favor, and a great asset to the Trinity Western front row there. Alongside him, James and Scott Bowers making up that front 3 against Quinlan, Bruce and Joe for United. United put in at the scrum here. Trinity with a big shove. Ball picked up from the back of the scrum by Cam McCulloch. And again, Rajan Prasad directing proceedings there at the back. Their scrum half just happy for the ball to go to the forwards, and now they look to expand the game a little bit with the 10. And a big hit there, beautiful hit by Eric Niebuhr. Now this is where Trinity just need to hold their shape. A little knock on there from A little knock on within the tackle there, and it looks like it came off a Trinity hand, but little switches in the centres there. Nick Hammerschmidt giving it to Joe Patko, but Joe's just being chopped down by a beautiful tackle by Eric Niebuhr. Eric and Josh Halliday making up the second row today behind our front three, and got to be said, the wheels of Isaiah De Pisa, just with the ball in hand there, was remarkable. I hope that we get to see that blindside flanker with a little bit more space to run today. Powerful young man, and Rajan looking to dig the ball out, and it's a turnover the ball. Finn Murphy with the ball in hand. Max with the big step. Look at the link up play. 7 Caleb Vittel on his shoulders, and now it must come. There must come to 4 Eric Niebuhr. Trying to find some gaps within this. Colin with the ball through, and it's looks like it might have been a knock on, and it's a try. No, it's gone backwards, and we've just spoke about him, about getting ball in hand, and who comes up with his hand raised? Isaiah, thanking God. With all credit to God there, the big fellow. Another points on the board. Is looking 12-0 to United at Langley Event Centre. And it all started, that little set play there, with a turnover from the forward pack. If we're going to give any credit there, it's got to be to that front row, making a huge impact. The old saying goes, forwards win you games. The backs determine how much we win by. 15 Jan Lawrence looking to add another 2 points on the board. And it's a bit of a shocker, it's got to be said. 12 points to 0. Spartans winning. Turnover from the scrum. Their forwards making a huge impact. Quick ball to Finn Murphy. Through then to Max Darcy, who shows and goes a little step off that right foot and makes a huge break then links up with the forwards play. Through the hands with Josh and some of the other forwards touching the ball, and then the glory man, the all glory, Isaiah De Pisa, who gets to touch down the ball. Kick-off here for United with Colin with his safe hands on the ball. Shows and goes, and is happy to take the ball into contact and just create a platform here for Finn Murphy to distribute the ball to Max. Max looking to gain some territory here. Opts for the spiral and puts a little bit of pressure on this winger. First time we've seen their fullback there, Gianmarco Petrozzi, with the ball. United looking to break down this Spartans, and a little kick over the top. Jan Lawrence underneath it. Big catch over to Lyndon Duggan. Lyndon with the ball. Ethan with the ball in hands, and Ethan makes a run. And on his inside there, Finn Murphy with another run, looks to release it in the tackle. Jan Lawrence with the spin, and now Isaiah again. Is it going to be 2? Is it going to be 2 for the big man? No, it's not. The assistant referee on the touchline here says that his foot's gone out. Man, that was an exciting little batch of play there with all sorts of people running through the back line, ball touching multiple people's hands. And it started again. He is having a blinder. Lyndon Duggan, it's got to be said. Lyndon Duggan with the little step, fantastic. And then we get to see Ethan Bernardin, who's been strong defensively. Haven't had too much of an opportunity for that young man to run with the ball in hands, and beautiful to see the kind of power and athleticism that he's run. Now Collins through the hand, Ethan with the ball, and unfortunately doesn't have the composure to hold on to that ball, and Connor Bernardin's having to clean up the mess. Finn Murphy down. It's a sloppy bit of play there. Referee's going to give the Spartans a push in, calling it a little knock on there from United, with Spartans getting the the put in at the subsequent scrum. Spartans will be happy with the amount of territory that they've had today. Most of the game being played inside of the United's half, and 12 points to show for all the territory. You can have all the possession, all the territory in the world, but unless that's converted to points, Spartans looking a little bit more clinical than I've seen in the past, willing to make sure that pressure, territory, ball in hand actually converts to points, and they'll be happy with 12 points, maybe even thinking that they should have had more. Finn Murphy looking to touch quick, opts to take it slow and go for touch. Line up ball to the Spartans. Interesting to see what the Spartans decide to do here. This is what the forwards spend a lot of their back end of the week. Usually front end of the week is loaded with heavy trainings and physicality, and back end of your training week is usually used, historically used for the technical part of the game and running through these line-out plays and making sure that they're clinical. Practice, practice, practice truly does make perfect, and we see if they can execute on this line-out play here. Up to go long. It's great hands. Base created. Ball pops loose. Cleaned up there by Caleb Van Til. Ball through the hands. Max Colin. Ball goes inside, and it looks like it's a bit of a knock-on there by Connor Bernard, and referee says play on. Deems to go backwards. Now Jaron Lawrence is going to have to clean up back here. Max there with him. Referee pulls things back. Looks like there might have been a slight lock on there from the Spartans. United put in the scrum. When the danger of starting strong like Spartans have is that there is confidence, which I think is the X factor in any sport. When athletes are playing with confidence, but when that spills over into overconfidence, everyone starts wanting to get their name in lights, and the name on the score sheet is when things start becoming a little loose. And you saw there with the ball popping loose, and all of a sudden United had the ball in hand, little kick forward, and no one's at the back. The line is incredibly flat, and so Jan and Lyndon and Connor Bernard are going to have to be disciplined today and make sure that yes, they're moving forward, yes, they're wanting to touch ball, yes, they're supporting the team, but if the tide changes, that they're going to have to make a big defensive effort there. Pick up from the back there from Callum Duncan for United. Rajan decides to go long here and gives it to his teammate Nick Hammerschmidt, playing at fly half today. Nick comfortably finding touch. Big fella there on wing, number 10 on his jersey. Got a lot of composure. That 9-10 link is so important. Both United with Rajan and Nick Hammerschmidt looking to make sure there's some chemistry there, and the same will be true of the Spartans with Finn Murphy and Max Darcy. The longer these players work together, the more they understand one another, understand their weaknesses, their strengths. Cleaning up the ball there. James Ellis shows that he can play with the ball in hand, and we decide to go long there. Show and go with Connor Bernard, and this boy has wheels. Great covering tackle there by United. Finn Murphy with the ball in hand. Eric Niebuhr taking the ball. Eric just looking for contact all day long. Eric's willing to put the body on the line here. And a little show and go there, and Isaiah with ball in hand too. Max Murphy looking to go long. Isaiah with the ball in hand. Looks like it's a little knock on there, unfortunately. Referee's going to pull us back, saying that United were cheating in their defensive line. In loose play like that, once a ruck is formed, the opposing or the defensive team has to be behind the last player's foot. And so if anybody, the back line or anybody doesn't create like a line, if you can draw a horizontal line across the field, they need to be behind that, just behind that last foot. One of the United players not showing enough discipline there, and the penalty is that Spartans have an opportunity here to again create a base for a line out. On the opposite side of the pitch just a few minutes ago, had an opportunity and the ball ran a little bit loose. I'll be wanting to make sure that this goes right here. Scott Bowers with the put in. Trinity pushing, and it looks like they've gone over the line. Is it held up? No try, says the referee. Ball held up, which the new laws, the new IRB laws, means that there's a drop kick. United are having to restart the game from behind their try line and looking to go long and perhaps just relieve a little bit of pressure here. They decide to go not long, but it's a great kick. Under the ball there, Gennaro taking it with the big step. Colin needs to support him and make sure he cleans out. The ball's loose there. Favor with the ball and a little pop there. And Josh looking forward to get involved with the game today. Now it must go. Max Darcy with the ball in hand. 15, Jan Lawrence. Now we've got number 14, Connor Bernardo with the big step, and unfortunately he's taken out. Exciting times when the ball is going through those backline players and linking up with the forwards. Josh Halliday getting in on the act, and the ball's taken quickly. Finn Murphy saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. And it looks like the ball's gone down. And it's another try. Apologies, I thought that was a penalty. So it was another try. 17-0 to Spartans, and that comes from an extensive period of a lot of pressure. Spartans camped out in the United's half, camped out in their 22 to be honest, and United get an opportunity, hold up defensively, hold up the Spartans' efforts, and then decide to go short with their drop kick, which in hindsight probably was a poor decision. Spartans recycling the ball, getting a line out, putting the ball through hands. A quick line out again on the opposite end of the pitch. Unsuccessful kick there. 2 for 1 from 3 today from Jan Lawrence. And in a tight game, which time will tell whether this is a tight game on the score sheet or not. At the moment, it's looking very one-sided from the Spartans, but in a tight game, those extra 2 points are absolutely vital. And it's so important that you have a Jan Lawrence, or you have a Max, or you have a historically a Matthew Willemse who can make sure that he can add those points. Those points become the decisive points in a game. A little bit of a fumble there from Eric. Uncharacteristic fumble there from, and that's going to be a penalized there. Eric trying to clean up the mess of his little fumble and then comes off foot. I don't think that was intentional and collapses straight onto the ruck. Penalty to United. And now United get an opportunity to show us what they can do on the attack today. Successful finding touch, and they just in front of that 22-meter line here with the United throw-in. Interested to see what they decide to do here, whether they keep it with the big boys in the front or whether we're going to see Nick Hammerschmidt release some of his players and get an opportunity to see this back line at work. Great defensive effort. It looks like Trinity have come out with the ball in their hands. That is fantastic. Decide to go. You know what? That is a character of a man there. Max trying to find touch. No. 14 comes off. Matt Morris looking to spread his legs and manages just to get a little bit of an ankle tack there from Lyndon Duggan. I thought he had got past him. And United decide to kick the ball out of hand. It looks like it's going to go past the dead ball line. Yes, and the referee is going to come all the way back for a scrum back to where they kicked the ball. Interesting decision there. First time United are in the Trinity's Spartans half, and they decide to kick possession out of their hands. Sometimes when you're playing on defensive, almost the ball comes in your hands and you're almost a bit unsure what to play with again. And I think it was probably a hurried decision. Hurried decisions are made when you're hurried, and that's due to the defensive efforts of the Spartans here. Again, we haven't said his name a whole bunch, but Ethan Bernardin and Colin Luggett, you got to watch these boys in their defensive effort. Yes, we've seen them both with ball in hand, and I love watching Colin run, but their effort to cover a park and make sure that they're communicating with another and coming up in a unified pair to create pressure, to hurry the play, is pretty special. And that's what I love about this beautiful game, God's game, rugby, that there's so much intricacies of the sport that are going off when somebody doesn't even have the ball in hand that can impact the game. And it's a bunch of 1%ers that everyone contributes that can really be the game changers. Just a couple % difference in each player. Picking up from the back there, Gennaro looking for Finn Murphy, and now he's spread his legs. Conor Bernardin shows it goes. He's got help on Finn Murphy on the inside. Decides to take it on his own, and the decision is made. Another try, and it's got to be said, Conor Bernardin. Wow. That's Lyndon Duggan. Sorry. I've got the two are swatched on my sheet here, so that's Lyndon Duggan. Apologies, Lyndon. Beautiful. Lyndon Duggan with another points on the board. 22 points to 0. Spartans winning today's affair with 4 tries now. And only one converted. One of those tries converted. 4 tries to nothing. With Jan only successful with 1 of 3. This goes over. It will be 2 from 4. Sorry, 1 from 4 today. 22-0. Joining us today. It's a spectacular day in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. Really a beautiful day to play rugby. Slight breeze in the air. Sun is out. It's still a bit chilly out here, but a few of the supporters, the faithful Spartan supporters, have made just a short journey from the campus just down the road to support them at their pitch at the Langley Event Centre. 22 points to 0. If you're joining us, it's still the first half. United playing in red. Trinity Spartans playing in white today. Kick-off there by Nick Hammerschmidt and taken by Isaiah. Isaiah shows and goes, and the big lad. Look at that man running. And again it's Eric Nieba looking to perhaps make up for that little drop on earlier. Maybe he's not even thinking about that. I hope he's not. You make a mistake in this game and you can't afford to really do it. And it's a huge break there by Ethan Bernardin running and showing that he's comfortable with ball in hand and comfortable to run at defenders too. Finn Murphy decides there's a little gap. Stop quickly. Max having to substitute there as a scrum off with Finn Murphy engaged in that action. And who is it once again? Out to Colin. Colin puts a little kick in. And Conor Bernardin tackles there with Colin making the stick. Colin with the run. Colin with the kick. I'm saying this man's name too many times today. He's having a bit of a blinder, isn't he? Jan, rightly so, looking, ball turned over. Looking to link up here with Conor Bernardin. And Jan Lawrence making sure that they can safely look here. And what is Conor going to do? A little bit of a fumble too. Goes wide to Jan. Is Jan going to look to get Lyndon Duggan again? Lyndon does. Show and go. And he's off. And he's off. This is a spectacular player. Look at how quick he is. My goodness. Usain Bolt, eat your heart out. We've got a new man on the scene. His name is Lyndon Duggan for the second try of the day. Absolutely spectacular. The little show and go, the goose step. Incredible. Am I watching Cheslin Kobe's younger brother? Perhaps. Fantastic. 22, now 27 points to 0. Jan looking to convert the second kick of the game. This is, at the moment, 1 from 4, but 27 points to 0. Spartans been really effective by holding their defensive line and the forwards, by making sure that their defensive efforts up front are strong, resilient, causing rush turnover balls, and Jan unsuccessful with that kick again, causing turnovers. And then what you have here is you've got the ability of Finn Murphy to spin the ball, and Max Darcy not being greedy at all today. Gaps opening up, but understanding he's got pace to the left, to the right of him, and using the boys on either side of him to make sure that the ball is distributed beautifully. But why have I not met Lyndon Duggan before? My goodness. Lyndon Duggan with the legs, with the wheels, with the show and go, with the composure, and with the ability to finish so beautifully. 2 tries in his name. Restart here from United. Isaiah once again underneath the ball and happy to run. Link up with those forwards. Forwards making sure they create the platform. Still got ball in hand. Unfortunately, just a little forced error. Sometimes when a player is trying to just get that extra yard, you know, yards, extra inch here and there, it's when you go one too many, and unfortunately that's when the ball is turned over. And Isaiah there would be kicking himself and just wishing that he had created a strong enough platform, just gone to deck. He was supported by our boys, but looking to fight for that extra yard or so, and unfortunately forced into a bit of a knock-on. So referee having a word to both front rows here, just saying, hey, listen, once we engage, I have no idea what he's saying, to be honest, but I can only guess. But once we engage, yeah, then we can put in Trinity again. The word is discipline. Have got to be disciplined here. Their base has been strong enough. Their forwards have been dominating United, so they just need to make sure that that ball gets in, and then they can give it a good solid hold themselves before they put in. Now they go. Now they go. Now they go. Ball's out. Finn Murphy causing that. WRUG with the ball in hand, looking to link up with his players. Colin there with a big hit. United, big hit there by Eric Niebuhr. As often I'm speaking about his counterpart, his partner in crime, the other second row, Josh Halliday, but Eric Niebuhr has, besides that one little error, has had a blinder. And look at this! Oh my word! James Ellis, I don't think we've ever seen that boy turn it on so much. He clearly had his cornflakes this morning. James decides to turn on the gas, and to see a big man in full flow. Is there a better sight in the world? I beg to say no. Turns it on, and so close to an interception there. James, what he was doing out near the wing, no one will know, but making sure that he's covering the ground like a winger. Absolutely beautiful. It will be interesting to see how much energy he's still got in the gas tank after that burst of speed. United with ball in hand inside Trinity Western's half, looking to put points on the board. 27 points to nothing. 5 tries, with only one of those tries being converted by Jan Lawrence today. Jan playing in place of Matthew Willems, so he picked up an injury loss game. Big stick, go through the 10's hands, go through 12. Joe Patko of United going forward. United looking to secure some ball, some regular possession, ball through hands here. Rajan looking to his right, not seeing too much support. Big whistle here, and it's a penalty. Accidental obstruction there. One of the United players running into the other United player. Referee calling for a penalty and a bit of a breeze today. So the ball not really getting a huge amount of distance there by Max Darcy. But to be honest, if it makes touch, it makes touch. It doesn't have to look pretty. $27 points to 0 here. Just a local BC rivalry here happening. Last time these two teams meet was 3 weeks ago, where they played at United's home pitch at Hum Park. The score was 45-8. Last week, Spartans coming off a narrow loss to Surrey Beavers at 36-33, a very competitive game, and looking to make sure that they solidify and create some confidence going into the next ball. Beautiful ball out there, goes wides. Isaiah getting involved with the action, stopped a little bit short, and again a knock on. I think this knock on count here for Trinity, if I can put a little bit of a tarnish on the game, is the knock on count is probably too high for what their coaching setup will be happy with. I know when you are looking to put the ball through the hands, there's a little bit of a breeze, but it's a dry day. Yes, it's cold. Yes, the hands are cold, but when the adrenaline's pumping, it's a dry day. You've got no excuse for that ball to be coming off your hands. And this is probably the 4th or 5th op time now where that ball has been a knock on. And to be honest, I think if I was going to be critical, the coaches would be talking to this team saying, hey, listen, a lot of these errors are unforced. These are unforced errors that we need to cut out of our game and make sure we're a little bit more clinical when we've got the ball in hand. 27 points into 0, but again, a big push up there. Isaiah with ball in hand, looking to run, and a big stick. A great hit there in the centres by Joe Patko. It's taken quickly by Finn Murphy. Referee says he pulls him back. It wasn't on the mark. Ball given to Max Darcy. He'll be just tasked with finding touch here, getting the ball into touch, and again, it's not a pretty kick, but it's achieved what it needs to achieve. Spartans just inside of the United half. Most of possession that they've had inside the half is converted to points. 27 points to nothing today here to the men in white, the Trinity Western Spartans. But the last 10 minutes or so have seen United with a lot more ball in hand and looking to exploit any chinks in the armor. Scott with the throw. Clean tack. Finn Murphy with a beautiful Max. Connor Bernardin getting involved with the game, wearing number 11 on his shirt. Colin there, Colin Laggett also getting involved with the forwards. Now goes to the forwards. A little chip and go there by Jan Lawrence. Is he going to be able to retrieve it? Yes, he does, and there's all sorts of activity happening over there by the ruck. Referee puts a little stop to that. Great idea there by Jan. I love the creativity, you know, that United line coming up quick and trying to force some errors from the Spartans, but Jan deciding that the best thing when you've got a line that's coming aggressively forward is to put a little chink over and force them to think twice about that rush defense coming up flat, especially with their fullback a little bit deep, as he was probably over kicking it a little bit than he'd like. But even though he's had an unsuccessful day with the boot or with conversions, Jan will be happy with this link-up play with both Connor Bernardin and Lyndon Duggan. If you're joining us here, Lyndon Duggan has had an absolute blinder, putting 2 tries on the board today. Finn Murphy with the ball in, and it's going to come out here, playing on a lot of players' strongest hands. Goes wide to Jan Lawrence. Quick pickup there by Connor Bernard, looking to link up with one of his players. Josh Halliday, a little show there. I think he rates himself as a bit of a flower half, Josh. Beautiful. Then he goes in and makes the hard work. That's where we want to see you, Josh, in the middle of the mess. And that's Scott Bowers with the offload. This man's playing at flower half. He's putting the ball into the line, and beautiful hands there. That's favor. Look at that man's hands. Just a little dink, and again, Jan. Unlucky, really unlucky. The boys are playing layered plays and there's waves coming through, which is beautiful to watch, but unfortunately unsuccessful there. Referee calling things back. A little knock on there. United's throw-in. Seeing a lot of these players, different aspects of these players' games we haven't seen a lot of. It's got to be said, Eric Niebuhr, for me, I know that, yes, Lyndon Duggan's got his name as last with 2 tries on the scoreboard today, but I don't know, Eric just seems to find a place all over the park today. Making sticks, carrying the ball in hand, defensively strong, making sure he's creating a big base for the scrum. Eric with number 4 on his back and having a phenomenal game. One of the best games I've seen this man play. Next to him is the big Josh Halliday. And Isaiah there too. I'd love to see a little bit more of Gennaro. Gennaro there playing in place of Caleb, the talisman, the captain who's still recovering from injury. The team will be looking to get Caleb back again because just his way he gets around the park, but also his leadership abilities and that he brings. I think the boys look up to him, and he's able to kind of really challenge the boys and get the little extra % out of all of them by leading by example. That's what the best captains do. They don't just give it big licks. They aren't just in a position where they are big talkers, but some of the best captains in the world are those captains who lead by example, and when it's good or when it's bad, they're putting in the big sticks. There's a loose ball there by United, having to give a little pop, and it goes loose again. United just need to, yes, they're in their half, but they just need to have a little bit of patience here and composure. Ball coming off United's hand. You've got to give credit to United. They have not given up in this game, and neither should they. There's still the end of this first half and a whole second half to go, and only 27 points on the board. I say only, that's a big scoreline, but nothing that I haven't seen teams come back from. But willing to run from deep, understanding that they need a little break in the game, and hoping to put a couple points on the board before the second half. They would take a lot of confidence if they can get on that scoreline before the end of the half. It looks like Rajan has been replaced by a replacement scrum half, and unfortunately I don't have his name, but he's come on with a lot of energy there. And there he is again. There he is once more. And the ball is just stripped. Clean up there by Colin. Unbelievable. Lyndon Duggan, ball stripped from his hands. It looks like it went backwards. And then Colin, the big centre, with number 12 on his back, Colin Lagat. From where I'm standing, kind of looks like got a Bob Marley hairstyle. Locks flowing in the wind, and gets his name on the score sheet today. Beautiful. And again, where's that try come from? The tries come from when the team have decided to let the ball go, let the ball do the work, and trust their outside backs, putting the ball through their hands. 27 points. Now we're at 32 with Jan looking to convert, and is successful with that kick. He'll be very grateful to put another points on. 34 points to 0. And it looks like that takes us to the end of the half. 34 points to 0. Thank you so much for joining us at the Langley Events Centre. Trinity Western Spartans 34, United 0. A whole second half to play, a whole 40 minutes, and please do not go anywhere. Make a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, maybe a quick drink or a bite to eat, but we've got a game here, an inter-squad game here with the Trinity team playing with one another. One team in blue, one team in white here. Just going to play for 10 minutes during this little break, and they're going to play some sevens here, get the ball through their hands. This Trinity women's team is in a huge development process, probably like the whole rugby program at Spartans, but just getting better and better. And some of the players today: AJ Price with 1 on the back, Rachel Wood, Danica Dole, Sophia Belcher with 4, Ashley Jacobs 6, Sammy Rusty Stokes number 7, Claire Schmidt, Stephanie Chan Dunford on 10, Nicole Stevenson 12, and Team Whites number 1, Sarah Asklizden, 2, Vlada Shevchenko, 3, Abby Johnson, 4, Emma Allett, 5, Isabel Schlotens, 6, Olivia Bow, 7, Emerson Lover, 8, Jensen Schmidt, and 9, Matson Kelly. Kick off there. Blue with ball in hand. Going wide, a little show and go there by Sophia Belcher. Sophia Belcher with the handoff. Her opposite number coming to try and do that in number 6, Ashley Jacob with ball in hand, looking to go wide here. Rusty Stokes. I'm sure there's a story behind that name. Sammy Rusty Stokes. That's a great break. That's a great break. Linking up with Emerson Lover. Isabel Schloters looking to get the ball out and spread it between through the hands. Emma Allett, number 4, just her pass is slightly off there. A whole completely different game, this sevens. It's a quicker game. Just in a couple of weeks' time, we host the Canada Sevens here at BC Place in Vancouver, where the best talent from around the world is on display. First points on the board go to Team White. Historically, just 7 minutes, 7-minute halves here. And you may be asking, that doesn't seem like much, 7 minutes. But if you've ever tried to sprint for more than a minute, it's grueling and exhausting, and you have to be super fit to be playing this sevens game here. Inter-squad team here, if you're joining us just during half here. Trinity Western Spartans 34-0, 6 tries, 2 of those converted against United. And our halftime entertainment is the Spartans women playing an inter-squad game, and good to get ball in hand, and again to be able to touch the ball and get a little bit of game time in front of this crowd here at the Langley Event Centre. Spartans have a faithful following, and it's been great to see both the men and the women supporting one another. You know, the rugby community is such a beautiful one, and it looks like the Spartans here are, you know, both men and women are just looking after each other. And number 5 there, Isabel Schlotens, showing how strong she is. She's a small woman, but man, dynamite comes in small packages, as they say, and just manhandling one of her opposing numbers into touch. Blue with the put on, Sophia Belcher. Referee pulling that back. It looks like that's Matthew Willemse refereeing. Matthew Willemse with a little referee. Look, you can't keep this man off the pitch. He's got a fractured elbow. He still wants to get on the pitch somehow, even if he has to referee the women's team. Most of the play here played in the Blues team hard, but that is a powerful run. My goodness. And a huge handoff. Turning on the pace and looking to get around her. She's got to come inside. Number 6, Olivia Bau, and 2, Shevchenko, who scored the only try of the game today. Shevchenko, and it's an interception by Sophia Balsha. Who would have seen it? Absolutely coming from nowhere. Sophia Balsha with the points between the poles. And this might be a turning of the tide here. Team Blue, Trinity Western Spartans against Team White. Our Spartans women's team playing an inter-squad game, just a sevens game here. And we'll see if Sophia is successful with the points, and looks like she is. And great watching the competitiveness of all these teams. It's great, the camaraderie. I mean, there's an element, of course, you want to win because you're competitive and you're playing a university sport, but an inter-squad game, there's sometimes when you've got an opposite number or somebody's playing in your position and you're competing for the same position, you've got an opportunity to kind of stake a claim on a jersey, maybe show the coaches something that they've missed, and have an opportunity to really kind of set the record straight. And it's a great run, and it's a big gap. It's a big gap. And Madge, can she turn it on? 5. Ashley Jacob, and look, it looks like it's a tackle there. Incredible. Not sure who that was chasing it down, but she had wheels. Team Blue. And there's a second try there for Team White. 2 tries to 1. And points on the board. Little inter-squad game here. We've probably got a couple more minutes left here before we're going to get back to our main event. Both Trinity Spartans United looking to get onto the pitch and restart where they finished. 34 points to nothing, 6 tries, 2 of those converted to the Spartans. Thank you for joining us at the Langley Event Centre on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. A beautiful day for rugby. And lovely to see the turnout here at this game when people wanted to coming to watch a beautiful game with incredible athletes who are playing at the highest level here in Canada, the University of Rugby, which is brilliant. A little show and go there by Shevchenko. Abby Johnson with the clear out, with the ball going wide. Isabel Schlotens, and it's another interception. Michelle Vierman's going to go all the way. And both of Blue's tries coming from interceptions. White throwing a little bit loose with their passes, and look at that. Both tries from Blue coming from interceptions. Incredible. And that looks like all we're going to see today. Two tries to 2, it will end. And the women having an opportunity to get a sweat on, stretch their legs, and provide some entertainment for this crowd who's come out here today on a cold but sunny day here in Langley, British Columbia. We thank you guys all for tuning in and thank you for our sponsors who are incredibly faithful here, supporting the rugby program and the Trinity Western Athletics program here. Western Contractors, who've been brilliant, who are our main sponsor, jersey sponsor. Hey, you might be watching today and thinking, man, I'd love to be able to showcase my business on the best of the best. Well, there's huge opportunities here at Trinity Western Spartans to get involved and support however you can. Maybe you're a business person who can support the rugby program in a unique way. We're thankful for all of our sponsors who have made the effort to make today's game possible. Action about to restart here at the Langley Event Centre. 34 points to 0. 6 tries from the men in white, the Spartans. United playing in red and blue, looking to put points on the board. Early start off, and they would have been brought together and say, hey, listen guys, we've got 40 minutes. We still have so much to play for in this game, and so much can happen in 40 minutes. And really looking to really start and set the tempo from this first kick. They've had an opportunity to kind of relax their legs, get some fluids in them, maybe take a quick energy bar, and now get some energy in here. And United looking to make an impact straight off the kickoff, and Spartans looking to end where they start, where they ended off the last half, and been dominant in both position, territory, and possession. And I tell you what, if you ever want to get your head back into the game, you take a big hit, you make a tackle. Look at those two working together. And it's number 7, Caleb Until, putting the body on the line and looking for more work again. Straight over, Caleb, straight over. And look at that, that's Favor. Favor just hits that ruck, and the whole ruck moves forward, and it's clean ball. That's what I'm talking about. The big man at the front doing work off the ball. Now he finds himself in the centres, and looks like there's a United player who's got a bit eager coming from the side, and a penalty to Spartans. And it looks like there's been a replacement at fly half. Is that Keegan Marengo who's on? Max still at 10. Keegan's come on here, playing at 12. It looks like our replacement's been Ethan Bernard, and has made way for Keegan Marengo, who's taken his place there. Lovely to watch that man on the pitch, and probably could have started today's game, but a great opportunity for Ethan, and he had a great first half, it must be said. There we go, Caleb Until doing all the hard work off the ball, picking up a penalty, unfortunately not letting go of that ball. Big Scott Bowers taking the ball into contact, not having enough support and holding on to it, and all of a sudden there's a turnover. United able to relieve some pressure and enter into Trinity Western's half. United with the throw in here at the line out, wanted to have clean ball and then put their ball through their backs. Keegan and Colin looking to re-engage that partnership that Colin and Ethan were operating very well in the centre park, putting a lot of pressure, and I have no doubt that Keegan will step straight into it, and straight away he's got ball in hand, unfortunately going through the hands of Lyndon Duggan there. Jan Lawrence supporting, and Colin always willing to put his body on the line, always willing to do the hard yards. And Josh Halliday, why is that man not taking the ball in up himself? He's such a strong runner. He's the biggest man on the field, and he thinks he's the fly half. Josh Halliday, we want to see you run. Nice to see Favor still on the pitch there, creating that platform with his brothers next to him. Favour Olien, James Alahas and Scott Bowers making up the front row of the Spartans today. And they've got the put in here. So looking for clean ball, a great platform. Gennaro providing the ball there. And Finn being able to distribute nicely to Max Darcy. And let's see what happens. They decide to go blind. Blind here. And it's it looks like it's a knock on there. Referee calling that accidental. From my position, that looks like it was quite intentional. Intentional, that's a penalty. Unintentional, that's a scrum. And the referee's decision says that was unintentional. He deemed him trying to pick that up. And you can see what Finn Murphy and Gennaro Gandolfo were trying to do, trying to come blind and link in here with Jan and Lyndon Duggan on this side. But unfortunately, the platform from the front row, they're not strong enough. And United, for the first time, putting a lot of pressure on that scrum. And it looks like it's a collapse. But the referee's going to allow him to play on. Finn with the ball in hand, going to Max. Max shows and goes. And a little ankle tap there, which was fortunate because Max had just turned on the wheels. Much better. Eric Niebuhr is a long... Oh, that looks like it's a bit high. And they'll Favour the big fella. Favour gets a hard tackle and literally just shakes it off and keeps going. What a unit. What a man. It's a long game to play. Still, you know, well over half an hour to play here in this game. But so far, a lot of names, and it's difficult to really pull out one name who's been a standout player. But just as I mentioned in the first half, Eric Niebuhr, for me, has been the man who's put his body on the line, carrying ball, defensively had a huge effort. Usually I'm talking about Josh Halliday, and today Eric, his partner next to him, steps up and says, you know, not today. I can do what you can do as well. Putting his body on the line, absolutely amazing stuff here. And Scott Bowers with the throw in here at the line out, looking to get clean ball here. You've got Isaiah lining up at the centres, looking to crash the ball, and also James Alahas. Oh, quick ball there by Caleb Van Til taking the ball. Quick ball, beautiful ball out there. And now we've got ball going wide. That is a beautiful play. And unfortunately, Lyndon Duggan, maybe he thought he was in for a third. Got excited there a bit prematurely and dropped the ball. But there was acres of space out there. And I don't know what that play is called. I'm just going to call it beautiful. Absolutely outstanding. Ball in hands from backs to forwards, looping around. I don't know who put that together, but it was a thing of beauty. Unfortunately, Lyndon Duggan with a bit of not being able to execute at the end, and it's a rare mistake from the boy who's put 2 tries on today, 2 of Trinity's 6, 34 points to nil. And it's got to be said, you got to give United a huge amount of credit, who've still been willing to play, who've still will be willing to show up and been physical. When you don't have ball in hand and are constantly on the back foot, playing a defensive effort the whole for 80 minutes, it is absolutely exhausting. And you've got to take your hat off for these boys who've come up here and willing to do everything. They were effort almost deserve some points on the board, and who knows, maybe they'll do it. Now they look to run the ball. Little show and go there, and he decides to go out the back. Gianmarco with the ball in hand. Keeping it tight. United. Now Trinity need discipline. They haven't been tested a whole bunch. Wow. And is that Keegan Marengo? That's Keegan Marengo with the... finds himself in the forward pack, making the tackle on his feet, then holding the ball, and United player not really doing any, not knowing what to do, and it's a turnover ball. Fantastic, but Keegan Marengo coming on with the fresh legs. and making sure that you're doing that. You know, what a responsibility for substitutes to come onto the pitch with fresh legs, with energy, with fuel in the tank. And it's moments like that where a guy, that's exactly what you brought him on to do. Throw in here, successful by Scott Bowers. Now the boys create the platform. They're going to slow it down, and it's going backwards. So Finn wants the ball. He's digging for the ball. Scott's still got the ball and is going forward. Finn wants it now. Max says, send it out here. They go wide again. Keegan Marengo. Colin decides to take it. He goes inside, outside. Lyndon Duggan with the step. Are they going to come back this way? Or are they going to keep it tight? Caleb Van Til puts his head down. Again, Caleb Van Til's had such a physical game. And it's through. Straight through. And that's beautiful. Max Darcy with the points. And you got to say, can we just take a moment here for Max Darcy, who's distributed the ball so beautifully today. He's had a fantastic day distributing the ball, hasn't run much. distribute, clean ball all game long, and he gets an opportunity to actually have a gap, and that's a great fly half. He's not just going through the motions, he's not on autopilot, he's not just trying to put the ball through the hands, but actually he gets an opportunity for a gap, and he takes the gap beautifully. Well done, Max Darcy. And Jan Lawrence makes it 2 more. 41 points to 0. 41-0 here at the Langley Event Centre. Last time these two teams meet, March the 12th, was 45-8. It's looking like a similar scoreline, and United will not want to be repeating that. They'll want to make sure that they're going home with some points on the board at least. And Isaiah, look at this man run. And the fly-offs having to make a huge effort there. Wow, through him. Isaiah, fantastic. What a run. What a run. And he just had one hurdle in front of him. The fullback, Gianmarco Petrozzi, who, fair effort to him, made his whole way across the pitch, but then was shrugged off by the big fella. And look at him, he's still running. Wow. 46 points to 0. Isaiah getting his points on the board, and this man has also had a fantastic game. Like I said, it's very difficult to find any real complaints or criticism of this Trinity Western side. It's just those unforced errors that counted slightly too high, and Jan will be looking to make sure that he improves on their 50% kicking ratio here. 3 from 6. Three from 7, unfortunately. 46 points to 0. Lead Trinity Western Spartans in the white. United in the red. 46-0. 3 of 7. And again, those points haven't really mattered for Jan. And I know he's not the regular kicker on the team, but it's a great position to have a little bit of depth of somebody who's got a boot, who's willing to put those points on. In a tight game, you got a penalty and you can put 3 points on. A tight game, you know, those extra 2 points really go a long way. And today, 3 from 7, he's left 8 points on the table. 46 points to 0. It's not going to matter today. Kick off and it goes out. Caleb Van Til gone backwards. Referee playing, and Caleb shows. Well done, Caleb. A quick ball out here. And Finn Murphy with the ball out. Nice to see Gennaro with the ball in his hands. And Favor, my goodness. Can we give me a favor and give that ball to that man some more? Absolutely beautiful. Again, another knock-on. I'll be interested to see the knock-on count today. I only imagine it's upwards of 7. Defensively, been strong today, Trinity. Forced errors. They haven't given any room around the fringes of the rucks. Their pack has been strong. Created a beautiful base for Finn Murphy. He's been able to distribute the ball in beautiful conditions, but been able to distribute the ball well. And the forwards will take a huge credit because they've had a phenomenal game here up front. Backs looking to add some more points to here. And Finn, look at Finn. Just not letting his opposite number get any space. Look at Caleb Victor. Caleb is constantly looking. He's like a kid looking for, an ADHD kid looking for Smarties. That kid. He is always looking for work, Caleb Vuntil, and it's exciting to have a player like that who seems to be plugged into some energy source. He's the Energizer Bunny personified. Here was Scott Bowers, big fella. We're going wide. Keegan Marengo, ball in hand. He's a quality rugby player. And I'm so unfortunate. Oh my goodness. Do I need to say it? Do I need to say his name again? Number 14. Colin Lagat. Ladies and gentlemen, remember the name. Colin Lagat, because he is lighting up today. He is lighting up today. Incredible to see such a powerful player. You look at those legs, just willing, such a low center of gravity, and being able to power through those tackles with a beautiful step as well. 51 points. Trinity eclipse the scoreline that they got 3 weeks ago against the same team, which was 45 points to 8. 51 points to 0. And Jan, unfortunately, unsuccessful with the kick again. That's 3 from 8 for Jan Lawrence. He's still got a smile on his face because he's been able to communicate, be a bit of a talisman behind there, which Matthew Willemse really is. He's a communicator, he's a talker, he's a leader, and he's had big shoes to fill. And you got to say, Jan has answered the call very well today. He's linked up with his fullbacks, he's linked up with the centers, his positioning's been great. And as a huge confidence boost for the coaching setup here at Spartans, to know that a guy like Jan, who can, I'm sure, play on the wing in multiple positions, can step into that vital role at fullback, that sweeper, that leader at the back. Bit of a sloppy ball. And Keegan Marengo puts the ball through his hands and puts the wing here under pressure. And referee happy to play advantage, and Josh Halliday putting the ball through the hands here. And who is it again? Caleb Vuntil. Does the man stop? I think he runs in his sleep. This man is constantly going. Incredible. And Jan Lawrence, who finds himself on the opposite side of the pitch. And my goodness, that was lovely from Connor Bernardin. Connor Bernardin, who explodes into a tackle. That's what you want to see. Some people are almost slowed down when a tackle's coming, almost anticipating that, knowing there's not much room there. Connor explodes into the tackle, reminding his opposite team that, hey, if you're going to tackle me, you're going to come off second best. And so important as a defensive or attacking that you go into those physical encounters, making sure you're leaving nothing on the table. And he's done that. Throwing Yaba United, they were looking to get out of their half. And that's not straight. The ball will come back, and that will be a scrum to Spartans. Unfortunately, the ball not going straight, and it's these errors from United that really cost them. We've had glimmers of excitement and glimmers of hope running through their hands, especially their Aaron Solomoso. He looks like he's a speedy, powerful Fijian in the middle, but hasn't really had an opportunity to really show us what he's about. And they opt to take the line out again, and referee's calling back saying again that the United team are offside. Keegan Marengo is going to put his boot through the ball and get a little bit more field position. And it looks like he was trying to take out one of the spectators on the other side. Maybe there's a personal grudge going on, who knows? $51 points to 0 to Trinity Western Spartans, and I might be incorrect, but this looks like it's the most points that they put on the game, and they'll come away from here with an opportunity. Again, at this point in the game, it's a great opportunity to start running through some of the phases of play that you haven't really had an opportunity to work on in a game-style situation. At practice, week in and week out, these guys will be running through their line-out plays, their back plays, but just like that. But it's completely different when you have another man on the other side of you running at you to continue running and continue showing up. And I hope that Trinity really uses time to maximize on doing the fundamentals right. What I love today and what I've heard today is the most communication I've heard from the Trinity. Looks like they're talking to each other. Looks like they're speaking and being a lot more vocal. Jan under that, going to let it bounce, which could go both ways. And it looks like he's going to put a boot. No, shows and goes again, and unfortunately loses his footing. I don't think that was a tackle, but Finn decides first time boot on through the pitch. And that's out. One of my highlights of the game today was watching Scott Bowers turn on the heat, turn on the pace, turn on the engine, let the legs go and run beautifully. Keegan Marengo, what a special player. I mean, he's got the composure to pass, to kick, to hand off, and then to still find people. And who was it? Once again, Eric Niebuhr. I know the man we're going to be talking about today is going to be Lyndon Duggan with his efforts today on attack and being a clinical in his finishing. But may I continue to mention the man, Eric Niebuhr, who's playing as captain today. And potentially when players, it's interesting to watch sport, and when players get that opportunity to wear the captain's armband, to take leadership for a team, of how they react to it. And Eric, taking over from their talisman Caleb, has answered the call in a beautiful way and led by example. It's difficult to have a man of the match, but my call would be Eric Niebuhr, who's just led and led and led. And look at him, legs would be heavy, still talking, still calling out his man, still talking to men inside of him. And as I say it, he's the man to take the next hit. Absolutely fantastic stuff from the captain today. Any young player watching this game, watch number 4, who's been an example of leadership all day today. United looking to clear their pitch, and they're running. Looks like Aaron Solomon is willing to just run all day. And regardless of field position, that man has just decided, I'm going to make a break. And when he has a break, I'm sure he's going to have some wheels, but just hasn't had an opportunity to do that. Penalised there. Scott Bowers not rolling away from the tackle. Penalty to United. With this wind blowing here at the Langley Event Centre, this seems like a very straightforward kick, but a bit of a challenging one with the wind blowing, and United put the spiral on and fine touch comfortably. You know, on both teams, when you're losing by 51 points, you can drop your heads. United haven't done that. Like I mentioned, credit to their sportsmanship and their effort. There's too much pride in this game and too much pride in this man to not stop fighting, and it's beautiful to watch. But it's got to be give credit. You know, you're 51 points ahead. Trinity really could start taking their foot off the gas, and they haven't done that. They haven't stopped. They're eager and hungry, and that's a very, very, very promising for this young team, or each game solidifying their ability, solidifying the unity, and really laying phenomenal foundations for this growing and incredible rugby program here at Trinity Western University. Ball through the hands, and man, he's quick. Connor Bernardin create the base. Unfortunately, another unforced error. A little unforced error and a knock on in the tackle. For any players you're watching here and interested in rugby and interested in this university, please check out Trinity Western Spartans and understand the grips, their philosophy, their long-term vision for this rugby program that is going from strength to strength year on year with a quality group of young players, a lot of first years who are going to come through the ranks here and have multiple years playing with each other. And it's great that as the season's gone on, there's been a huge amount of unity that's created, and also a lot of players putting up their hand to stake a claim on their jersey number as their recruitment goes and the recruitment processes get refined. Better players will be recruited, and when you've got someone knocking for your position, then it's a great opportunity for that. And we've got another point on the board. 56 points to 0. Still waiting to see who that was. Jason Rodriguez coming on with the win, coming on as a replacement, number 16 on his back. 56 points to 0. Nine tries today, and it's got to be said, there is an element of ruthlessness here from the Spartans, who've just decided, I think they smelt blood early on, and just have decided to just continue fighting for every inch, for every possession, for every contest, for every 50-50. And Jan with 3 from 9, just a 33% ratio today from the kicking tee. And that's his only blemish on his record, because he's been strong defensively, been strong with ball in hand, communicated well to both wings, provided clean ball for them. Just the kicking duties had just been off. But 56 points to 0 here, Trinity Western Spartans. And they'll be wondering, can we better this? Can we put more points to the ball? Keegan Marengo, ball in hand. Our man Caleb Until putting the ball through the hand, and then the big man Caleb Until again. Caleb Until, he's all, I don't know, this man is made differently. And then Josh Halliday playing a scrum, and then through Keegan Marengo looking for favour, throws. Absolutely, I am a bit shell-shocked, to be honest. One man to beat, stumbles, big contact. Keegan Marengo, dynamite. Maybe today he's become Keegan Monster Marengo. Incredible, Keegan Marengo. Credit to you to come off the bench, fresh legs, kicked, run, beautiful. 56 points to 0. 61 points to 0. Sorry, my apologies. 61 points to 0. Jan Lawrence to make it 63. Unfortunate 3 from 10 for Jan Lawrence, and the man's still smiling. It's great. You know, it's incredible when a guy like that is clearly, you know, replacing some kicking duties and having a crack at it. It hasn't affected his confidence. 3 from 10. He's just continued to literally every strike ran away smiling. I think he must wake up smiling, thinking about this beautiful game on a daily basis. And I would too if I was having a game like he was. 61 points to 0 to the men in white, Trinity Western Spartans. The ball goes a bit sloppy and United have the play. Referees allowed the play to go on a lot, played a bit of advantage today, which is nice because when there's been a few errors like there has been, the game could be a bit stop-start, and both teams have had an opportunity to really play and allow the ball to do some work and run some free-flowing for rugby. A little bit offside there. I think that was actually Connor Bernardin who maybe got a bit too eager on that side of the wing, lining up his opposite number, and he's been running full speed into when he's got ball in hand, but man, he ran full speed into that tackle as well. Just a bit too eager, maybe his pace getting the best of him. Can't restrain himself. And it's great to see near the end of a game, people are still hungry, people are still eager, people are still doing great. United with ball in hand. And trying to create a base here with the rucks and sustain pressure. And a quick take from the fullback, but unfortunately not taking it from the mark. Referee pulling him back. And sometimes that's what you need. They need a little bit of, they need to change the pace. And unfortunately today they've been beating to the drum of Trinity Western, and United will have ambition to play a little bit differently, to have played a different place, to start dictating a little bit of work, and they'll be happy to get in the half, but the question remains, can they convert this into points? Can they get over that try line? And if I was in the Spartans' shoes now, I'll be doing everything to make sure that that stays 0. 2 men on that, and Keegan straight over it, on his feet, and that's, he's penalized for not letting go. So what's happened there is Keegan's taken a tackle, the ref has deemed that they've, the ruck has formed, and then Keegan's put his hands on. It's really fine margins that you're doing there, and you've got to trust the man in the middle who's leading today, our referee for this afternoon's affairs, saying that Keegan's just a little bit late getting to that breakdown and getting his balls on that, his pits on that ball. Just outside the 5-meter line here for the United. Actually, just inside the 22, the ref kind of pulls him a little bit back. 56 points to 0, 10 tries today. A lot of men getting their names on the score sheet. 3 tries for Lyndon Duggan, the man on the 14, who's run actively, it'd be really difficult to not recognize that man, but Jan Lawrence, who's led so beautifully today. Keegan just able to relieve a little bit of pressure, give them a little bit of space, go up a little bit early, and that throw wasn't straight, unfortunately. Boys get him Caleb until high up in the air, and that little bit of pressure throwing off the hooker, Bruce Wong, slightly off and not throwing the ball in straight. Two options here. Trinity, when a ball goes like that, when it's not straight, Trinity have an option there to take a scrum 15 meters in, 15 yards in, or they can take the line out, and they decided to take the line out. And are they going to go long or keep it short? They go long. Oh, unlucky. Favor there with a big stick, just running through his man. Referee playing advantage for that knock on. And you see, going wide and the ball is loose, having to clear it up a little bit. And their winger decides there, Ethan Schaefer, I think his name is, decides to go into the big patch and find some support. And now there's a little gap opening up. Trinity must be composed here and talking. This is where your leaders arise here. We need leaders from the forwards and the backs. Caleb Van Til's around. Be composed. Be patient. Trust the man to the left, to the right of you. Finn Murphy with the hands over the ball, not able to get there quick enough. A little bit of an overlap there on the far side of the pitch, but closed down very quickly. Connor dropping back, looking for that little kick over the top there. Great positioning. And Jan, you can see Jan just maybe could be a little bit more vocal, directing traffic from the back there. And straight out of the gates there. So again, just offside. Just offside. And, you know, it's a small disappointment there, because what they did do very well is they were patient. They were trusting each other, the Spartans. They were forcing the team backwards. They were playing unified. They were talking. And then again, just get too eager. Interesting that at the end of the game, what they're getting penalized for is being too eager and being slightly offside. And yes, we could be critical of that, but for a team to still have that level of energy speaks a lot about their fitness levels, and that the team has, that they're willing to play for 80 minutes hard out rugby. And everyone, there's no man who's not pulling his weight today. Everyone's pulling their weight, and they've also been able to bring fresh legs from the bench, utilize the strength of their bench, and get players some valuable game time as the program develops. That's so important. A little bit of argy-bargy off the pitch. And that's the whistle today. 56 points, 61 points to 0 to Trinity Western Spartans against United. A great day of rugby with multiple tries happening here. 11 tries to the men in white. A huge achievement and a fantastic score. The biggest score line that I've experienced here watching the Trinity and calling their games. 61 points to 0 to United, and credit to United for continuing to show gut, determination and resilience throughout the full extent of the game. Thank you so much for watching, for tuning in and showing support to Spartans. When you're watching this live or following up on our Facebook page as a catch-up, we appreciate the support. If we had to do a poll here, who you think deserves man of the match, maybe we could announce the team and maybe the whole team, but that's a bit diplomatic. It's very difficult to not mention Lyndon Duggan, who's had a standout play. Jan Lawrence directed things very well at the back. Caleb Van Til all over the park. Favor again putting his body on the line. Isaiah Scott, I mean, you can name it. Max Darcy talking about Finn Murphy's distribution today. Fantastic. Just the whole team, you've got to admit, the whole team have been fantastic. But my man of the match, our captain, Eric Niebuhr, who's made a phenomenal game defensively and on attack, put his body on the line and was all over the pitch, led by example, had that extra pressure of having to lead the team, and has done a brilliant, brilliant job. Thank you so much for tuning in from the Langley Event Centre. Trinity Western's 61 points to 0. We'll see you soon. God bless and thank you.
Beautiful. A wonderful job. Masterful. Are you sticking around for this women's game as well?
Are we supposed to shoot?
They have another game coming up here. If you want, I can probably shoot it.
Because I was going to go do the photos.
Sorry.
Marco never said about doing it.
Yeah, but we probably should. I mean, they like don't really get photos that are scribes.
It just
I mean,
means
if you want.
It just means that the men's stuff is going to be delayed for whatever time.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't think that's the end of the world. If you want, you can go do your thing. If you want, you can just take a card, the card that you had the men's stuff on, and then I can just shoot some women's.
Because you're not doing anything.
Well, I'll just come up here. There's a score. So it's no biggie. Do you want to do that?
I can shoot it. It just means the men's get delayed.
Right.
Is the one we're starting right now?
Yeah.
How many shots are there?
Well, this is interesting again. You're supposed to be putting in another team. Yeah. Okay. I can get some shots though. Yeah.
I'll go through the
Can you just take the card and then
I've got the card for the men's shot.
oh, okay.
I don't have the card of the women that I just gave you though.
Yeah, I can live it. Yeah, sure.
Okay, because I need the card reader.
Yeah. Could I by chance grab one more photo of the men's skate for you actually? Because the one I grabbed was a little bit blurry. It's a little bit blurry, just because I couldn't really see.
I know I can't really tell.
No.
I can't see it. Sadly.
Hey, it's great seeing you. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, my son and I are watching the baseball game later, so I was like, no.
Yeah. I know Mariners were down this morning. I watched their game yesterday. Robbie Ray looked good.
Look great.
What's that?
Look like Bobby Ray.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Jays don't make a mistake not signing him.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I'm supposed to be going to lunch slash late afternoon, early dinner with my son. We're going to watch the baseball for the Jays game.
Yeah.
And then I find out my ex-wife is picking up his laundry at 4:30, and I'm going like, okay, that kind of puts a delay in us going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I can still go. I go, yeah, but I'm just kind of hanging out for whatever else I find. What time is it?
Yeah, but I've only seen like 12 photos. there's just like 12 photos. Here, look at this.
I can't see. There's only 12 photos.
From here to here.
That's limits.
No, it's just the nets.
Mine's are not today's because they're on this course. Do you have the right card?
Maybe. Or what's that card in your hand?
This is 16 gigabytes.
I think that's where the men's game is. Sorry, one sec. I'm just gonna make sure.